And this is from Chris M. I really like this one. My question would be, with the rise of clinical herbalism becoming the norm, what are some of the earth-grounded practices that bring you back to the roots of practice within your own personal life or in your practice, meaning traditional, intuitive, folk earth-based herbalism as the roots of practice?
Okay. Wow. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like a statement in a question.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Do
So,
you want me to repeat it?
no, I think I've got it the best I can interpret it, I think.
Sure.
Okay, so again, this is like a philosophy of clinical practice, and this is one that I'm going to be talking about when I teach on this subject in December, which will be online. Um, I have a mentor, another mentor, awesome mentor, who said to me once, Erika, you can only support people in their healing work as far as you have been willing to do that work on yourself. And that's like, boom,
Yeah.
right? That's boom right there. That is the hot, stinking truth. And, stepping into that reality, as I did several years ago now, has opened up profound doors in my personal experience of just being on this planet, which then reverberate out into my clinical work in the world. And I always talk about how, I came to herbalism for me first. When I was a young person interested in herbs, I came to herbalism because of my own healing journey, my own needs that weren't being met in other realms. And so, I one of the grounding practices that I have, okay, and maybe this isn't necessarily folk herbalism, but maybe it is that I see a therapist. I do. I see a therapist every 2 weeks. I have for years. And this is a big part for me of touching base with myself always. And where am I in my healing journey? Where am I screwing up? Where am I challenged? Where am I doing really well? And how does that continue to sort of reverberate out into the space I'm able to hold for my clients? And so, for me, that is a super grounding practice. Um, I also, in a less esoteric sense, spend quite a lot, as much time as I possibly can with the plants themselves. I know that for many, that's a real privilege to be able to do. And not everybody is, backed into national forests like I am, and has such ease of access to beautiful biodiversity. But for me, actually having my hands on the earth, my bare feet on the ground, around the plants themselves, even if it's just sitting down for a second and watching a bee on a dandelion, um, take me back into that moment, to that presence and that awe, and that wonder. That is also a big practice of mine. I also do a lot of, sort of plant study and distillation work. And so, I suppose one of my rooted practices is in my ongoing study and research into Goethean science and phenomenology. And so a lot of people aren't familiar with what that is. But it is very much about practicing the art of living thinking. And I do a lot of plant studies and landscape studies, which end up in sort of like aromatic distillations, that become a part of my sort of spiritual practice in herbalism, and just tending to that as much as I possibly can in my work. In fact, I was really blessed to have just done a really wonderful workshop in East Lothian in Scotland, doing the Essence of Place workshop, where we studied 3 different plants, and kind of within the landscape, and did this kind of larger landscape study, and then we put it all into the still. It was really wonderful because, if I can just share this with you, maybe I already shared this on HerbRally, I don't even know, but it was like the actual distillation essence that we distilled, for whatever reason, ended up smelling like sheep when it came out the other end, which is really amazing because, like, this place that's in the middle of nowhere, this beautiful piece of land, is surrounded by sheep farms. I mean, it's like, sheep have been reared on for hundreds of years. It's like the sheep are in the land. And so that's what we got out of the still, which was really too much to many people's chagrin. But to me, it was really exciting because I was like, we did it. We captured the essence of place. So anyway, long story. I feel like attending to that work, that heart path work is also what keeps me grounded in my clinical practice. So hopefully that was a good answer.
I love it. It's holistic. You got the therapy, hanging with the plants, and then your spiritual practice of creating these essences and whatnot. And what was that one Gandhi story where the mom came to Gandhi and said, "Can you tell my kid not to eat candy?" And he's like, "Sure, come back to me in a week." And she's like, "Why a week?" He's like, "Well, first I got to quit eating candy first, and then I'll be able to tell him."
Yeah.
That reminded me of what you said earlier. So
Yeah. I think that's the truth of it. Now, and that's not to say that like we have to be purist or that
thank you for
we have to be,
clarifying that.
yeah, or that we have to be perfect. Like
Yeah.
I am absolutely beautifully imperfect in everything that I
Amen.
do.
Yeah.
And as much as I try to like be on top of taking care of myself all of the time, I am falling off wagons just like everybody else. I am in the trenches of all of the challenges, just like my clients, just like everybody else. And so I'm not trying to live in this place of like, oh, I have done this healing work and now I can, heal you in this weird guru kind of way. Like, that's just not even where I'm at. I'm like, cool, you're in the trenches. I'm in the trenches too. Look at this crap all over me. But I can still also, with the knowledge and experience that I have, provide guidance. But to do that authentically, I have to be committed to my own path. I have to be committed to my own work on myself. It doesn't mean that I'm ever going to get there. It doesn't mean I'm ever going to be perfect or that I'm never going to eat sugar ever again or whatever it is. It doesn't mean that any of those things for me. It just means that I am on the path. I'm cognizant that I'm on the path and I'm doing my work as best as I can. I think I wanted to clarify that piece.
It's the best clarification you could have possibly done. So yeah, I love that. It's a great answer.